So why did the chicken cross the road? Well, it's because his doctor told him he needed to get up moving and stimulate his lymphatic system.
Welcome to the What Up Doc University podcast, your number one resource for total body wellness. Here's your host, Dr. Mike.
Hey everybody, it's Dr. Mike from What Up Doc University podcast. Hope you guys are having an amazing week. It's Friday, but if you're listening to this other than that, I hope you're having an amazing day regardless if it's Friday or not. And I hope you guys are getting some great information of some of the podcasts that we've been putting out. And today we're actually going to do our first follow-up Friday. And this is going to be, we're going to try and do this every single Friday, what we call our follow-up Friday. And what this episode is going to be about is the different, news things that happen during the week in related to the health aspect. And we're going to try and bring that to you and curate that for you. And I'm going to try and give you some shout outs for who to follow on Twitter and also what podcasts you should be listening to. And maybe I'm going to do some summarizing on some of the podcasts I've been listening to. So with that said, I wanted to give you guys some of the rundown of some of the top stories that I've been reading and I came across this past week. This one was published on mindbodygreen.com, and it says the 15 foods a nutritionist refuses to eat. And I found this very, very interesting. So these are the lists of the foods that nutritionists will never, ever touch. And if they're not touching it, guys, you shouldn't either. And I thought this list was pretty comprehensive, and it's a lot of it is no-brainer stuff. But then again, a lot of times common sense is what? Not so common at all. So here's the list. Number 1, artificial sweeteners. Number 2, caged eggs. Caged eggs. What that means is eggs that came from hens that were caged. So you want to be using free range, okay? Free range. Pasture-fed, certified organic. That's the ones you guys want to be using. And just because the eggs are brown, guys, doesn't necessarily mean that it's cage-free eggs. Okay, so make sure you read the labels and know what you're eating. Number 3, breakfast cereals. Stay away from those guys. Farm salmon's next one. You want to have wild caught as much as possible. And there's a reason behind that, because the farm salmon has a higher amount of toxins that they have in their tissues. And it's pretty gross. I watched this one documentary that they showed that what they do in these farm, fish raisery, what do you call those things? Fish farms, is they take some of the dead fish, the carcasses, they grind them up and they feed them back into the farm. And what happens is these salmon will eat that, and the circulation of the toxins, especially the heavy metals and the different types of pesticides, will increase because they keep eating it, and it circulates and never gets out of the fishery. So wild-caught salmon, processed peanut butter. Make your own. And one of the reasons why they say for processed peanut butter is that a lot of it has a lot of added sugar. Canned tomatoes, the next one. When you get tomatoes, especially like tomato sauce, peeled tomatoes, that kind of stuff, make sure it's in glass because it can leach. The acid from the tomatoes can actually leach some of the stuff found in the cans. Salted nuts. Salted nuts is another one. You want to get raw seeds as much as possible. So don't do the prepackaged nuts, because the salt content is ridiculously high on that. Next one, prepackaged frozen meals. Stay away from those guys. Next one, table salt. Okay, as much as possible, do sea salt or Himalayan salt. Those are my those are the things that we use all the time. Next one, non-organic dairy. Stay away from the non-organic dairy. You're taking in a lot of antibiotics and growth hormones. Stay away from that stuff, guys, unless you want to consume that. So if that's your forte, then stay with that. But if you want to be healthy, like everybody on What Up Doc University should be, get the organic milk or get something like rice milk, coconut milk. Stay with that kind of stuff. And we're going to have a whole episode on milk Does it do your body good? I don't know. It really doesn't from what I've seen in clinical practice. And remember, I said the things that I'm telling you guys is what I actually do in practice, not what I think and I theorize about or what I read about. This is what I've seen in practice. Okay. Next one, vegetable oil. As much as possible, stay away from the vegetable oils. Use more stuff like coconut oil, olive oils, that kind of stuff. Next one, packaged processed breads. Even if it says like whole wheat, whole grain, stay away from that kind of stuff. I mean, that's really not even bread. Bread's not even supposed to last more than a couple days. If it doesn't mold, that means if the mold won't grow on it, your body doesn't like it either. I like Ezekiel bread. Or start learning how to make your own bread. Okay. Next one is processed meats, though. That's a real good one. Okay, and a lot of the processed meats is tainted with growth hormones and all that kind of fun stuff. So stay away from the processed meats. Next one, margarine. This is kind of a no-brainer. Stay away from the margarine. It's not even a food, guys. Anything that flies won't land on or cockroaches won't eat, if they won't touch it, you shouldn't either. Next one, unfermented soy products. Okay, so stay away from that kind of stuff. Stick with the fermented soy. You know, like they recommend tempeh, miso, natto, that kind of stuff. In general, just reduce your soy content as much as possible. I mean, there's a couple of reasons, right? And I wrote a whole article about this. You can check it out on the blog. But soy, I mean, it has a lot of phytoestrogens, goitrogens, and also it just, I mean, anybody who's been reading up on natural health knows that there's this big company surrounding the production of soy. So kind of stay away from that stuff as much as possible. All right, moving on to the next article. It talked about, it's the headline, it was on Time. It says, here's what school lunches look like around the world. And they really talked about and they compared the different types of lunches all throughout the world in comparison to the United States. So it says here, in school cafeterias in Italy, children enjoy local fish on a bed of arugula, caprese salad, red grapes, and fresh bread. In Korea, lunch includes fish soup, tofu, steamed rice, and bell peppers. And then they get to the United States. This is in the United States, though. School cafeterias are serving up frozen chicken nuggets, processed fruit preserved in syrup, and cookies. Is there no wonder, guys, why our nation is so sick, even though we spend so much money on our healthcare? Look at what the rest of the world is feeding their children. They're feeding them real food. We're not. There's a commercial that said, chickens don't have nuggets. All right, kind of jumping off of that, here's a article that was written, let me see, where was this written? On mamavation.com. It's entitled, The 10 Processed Foods Never to Feed Your Kids. And I know a lot of parents are feeding their kids this stuff. This is a very common one. Number 1, Pepperidge Farms goldfish. Oh man, I see a lot of parents feeding their kids this. And I know, like in our church, I saw a parent in our kids lounge. They have a big amount of these goldfish. I mean, these cartons. You can go to Costco and buy these large cartons. Stay away from that stuff. And she lists better alternatives like the Annie's homegrown cheddar bunnies. Okay, as much as possible though, feed kids real food. Number 2. Kellogg's Pop-Tarts. Yeah, that's kind of obvious. Number 3, Nestle Nesquik chocolate milk. I put up a post on Instagram this past week about this one company that makes chocolate milk, and there was more than 2 ingredients in it, right? You think about it, chocolate milk should just contain chocolate and milk. This one contained a list of like 20 different chemicals. That's not chocolate milk, guys. Number 4, soda. Number 5, fast food kids meals. Again, there's nothing happy about a Happy Meal. Maybe except a toy. Don't get me wrong, I like the toy. But there's nothing, there's nothing happy about a Happy Meal, guys. I mean, I've seen too many kids. The rise in obesity with kids is just getting ridiculous. Number 6. Ooh, this is a very popular one. Yoplait Go-Gurt. Yoplait Go-Gurt. Nah, stay away from that kind of stuff. If you're going to give your kids yogurt, get them the Stonyfield organic Greek yogurt. Number 7. Kid Cuisine. Kid Cuisine. No, don't even touch that stuff. Number 8. Kellogg's Fruit Loops. There are no fruit in the Fruit Loops, guys. Number 9. Hostess Twinkies. They took this off the market and people went crazy. Even people were like paying thousands of dollars for the black market Twinkies. Come on, guys. Twinkies. I mean, if Twinkies will never, ever go bad, something's wrong with that. I mean, you got to look at the list of the ingredients here that I won't even get started with that. Number 10. Oh, this is a very popular one for elementary school kids. I used to love this, but I never got it as a kid. And luckily I never got it, which was the Kraft Oscar Mayer Lunchables. Oh gosh, I hate those things. Those things are not good for your body. So stay away from them. Keep your kids away from them. There's nothing good about Lunchables. Eat real food. Here's one that I really got a kick out of. This was published on Fortune magazine, on fortune.com. And it was about Warren Buffett. It says, Warren Buffett's secret to staying young. And when I read this article, I was dying. You got to read the article, and I'll put a link to the show notes. And this kind of goes in the face of everything we're talking about. And there's a specific reason why, and we're going to have another episode on why you're going to hear about why Warren Buffett eats the way he eats and doesn't have any type of reaction to it. So he says, Warren Buffett's secret to staying young, quote, I eat like a 6-year-old. Hey. So it says, how does the world's top investor at 84 years old wake up every day with energy in the face of the world with repeat that. Wake up every day and face the world with boundless energy. This is his answer. He says, I'm 1/4 Coca-Cola. And when I read that, I'm like, what does that mean? Okay. He says, he said, if I eat 2,700 calories a day, 1/4 of that is Coca-Cola, meaning that I drink at least 5 12-ounce servings. I do it every day. Disgusting. But it works for him for some odd reason, and we'll talk about that in another episode. Typically, Buffett says, I have 3 Cokes during the day and 2 at night. When he's at his desk at Berkshire Hathaway headquarters, this is blowing my mind still every time I read it. When he's at his desk in Omaha, he drinks regular Coke. At home, he treats himself to cherry Coke. I'll have one at breakfast. And he explains that he loves to drink Coke with potato sticks. So they ask him, what brand of potato sticks? He says, I have a can right here. He said, never even heard of this brand, UTZ. He eats these fake potato sticks with a cherry Coke or Coca-Cola, okay? And then it keeps getting better, guys. It keeps getting better. He says, this morning I had a bowl of chocolate chip ice cream. Chocolate chip ice cream for breakfast. Amazing. Asked to explain the high-sugar, high-salt diet that has somehow enabled him to remain seemingly healthy, Buffett replies, I checked the actuarial tables, and the lowest death rate is among 6-year-olds, so I decided to eat like a 6-year-old. It's the safest course I can take. Now, I don't recommend everybody following Warren Buffett's diet, but there's some truth to what he is saying. And not necessarily for his diet, but what's surrounding that. And there's more to just eating stuff and your health, okay? And we're going to get to that in another episode, like I said, but just briefly, there's a real meaning behind your state of mind when you're consuming things. And now is what I relay to patients. I said, if eating healthy is stressing you out and making you go crazy, there's no sense in you eating healthy. Okay, if you're going from a state where you are eating junk food 100% of your diet and you try to flip that into being 100% eating clean, it's going to drive you insane. Plus, your body is going to freak out. So, a lot of times people stress out about being healthy and eating healthy. And the number one thing that affects your body is your mindset. And we're going to talk about that in another podcast episode about how your mindset affects your health. All right, I wanted to give a shout out to a few podcasts that I think you guys may benefit from. These are ones that I currently listen to. I've been listening to for a while now. The first one that I really, really like, and it's a show called The Model Health Show by Sean Stevenson. This guy knows his stuff. This guy will give you information that's really, it's digestible, no pun intended. But, I mean, the guy has a vast array of knowledge. And he has some amazing guests on his show as well. And it's entertaining. It's not boring stuff. So go check out his podcast, The Model Health Show. And here's another one that I really like. It's a brand new show, but she has really great guests on it. And it's really fun to listen to. I really enjoy listening to her episodes called On Air with Ella. On Air with Ella. So go check out her podcast as well. And then there's a staple in the podcast arena for health and wellness called the Underground Wellness Radio with Sean Croxton, and he's been around for a while. I've followed him for years now. Actually, watched him on YouTube. He has a lot of videos on YouTube. His Twitter feed. And just his podcast. I mean, the guy has like a bazillion episodes and has talked to a lot of health experts. You're going to get a lot of great information there. So those are the three podcasts that I really like in relation to health. Now, for mindset stuff, you got to go with my boy Angel Rivera. Inspire to Win, guys. One of my favorite couples, Angel and Tulane. You guys got to go check out their podcast, Inspire to Win. If you guys really want to be inspired, and I see a lot of podcasts where, especially when they talk about inspiration, you don't really know if these people know their stuff or they're just reading it off from a book and they're just regurgitating. Guys, I've seen these two live it, and I've seen them through everything that they've gone through, from the valleys to the peaks and all that stuff. So when Angel and Tulane speak, they're speaking from experience, and that's who you need to learn from, is the people who've been there and are doing it. Always surround yourself with that. The next one is by Hal Elrod, and we're actually going to have Hal on one of the shows, and he has a book called The Miracle Morning, and he also has a podcast called Achieve Your Goals. So in this relates highly to your health. Is when you are setting health goals, you want to know what to do to achieve your goals and how to keep your mindset right. So when you got Inspired to Win, to get your mind right and getting a plan to achieve your goals with Hal Elrod, you got a winning combination, guys. These are the podcasts I love. Go ahead and check them out. So we got some great episodes coming up to you for this coming week. In the next couple days, we're going to have the follow-up part 2 to the All About pH. We're going to have a couple interviews by the Green Chef. Ooh, that one's actually a really good show. We got the Green Chef coming on. We also got an interview from MyFitnessPal, which is a great app that can monitor your fitness and your nutrition. So go ahead, guys, subscribe, like our fan page at facebook.com/whatupdoc. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, and upcoming, I'm going to be opening up the SoundCloud account so you guys can share this. And I really want you guys to share this with your friends and family, because there's so much information that we're giving out to you guys that will help your friends and family. And I know that if I had this type of information back in the late 90s, this could have been something where we could have helped my grandmother with her health issues, and so that she didn't have to suffer with what she went through, and maybe she would still be around today. So that's my main driving force of doing this podcast, is giving you guys the information that I've learned and curated over the years, so that you don't have to suffer in your body, or your family or your friends don't have to suffer. So share this. And if you feel inclined to, go over to our iTunes channel, and then like, subscribe, and rate and review. That would be awesome, because the more that you guys contribute to it as far as rating and reviewing, the more it gets out there, and the more that people can see, and we can get the message of health and wellness out to the world. So with that, I bid you a farewell for now to the next episode of What Up Doc University podcast. Peace and aloha.